It's been the Connor Bedard sweepstakes for years now.
He is the show, he is the story.
This kid is out of this world.
Rising superstar Connor Bedard will have his name called first at the NHL Draft in Nashville in just a few days' time. But what happens next?
There's one generational player in the draft, and there's a lot of really good players after Connor Bedard.
I want to move, Fantilli scores!
The more I see of Karlsson, the more I like.
Where do other prospects like Adam Fantilli and Leo Carlsson land? What surprises does the draft hold for your favorite team? TSN's Director of Scouting, Craig Button, is here to give us his predictions for all 32 first-round picks. Plus, Adam Fantilli joins us in studio to share his thoughts as he gets set for draft night. The TSN Mock Draft Show starts now. Happy draft season, everyone, and welcome in. I'm Julia Tocheri. I've got Craig Button alongside me, and it's time for the annual mock draft here at TSN, where Craig will act as GM to all 32 NHL teams, or at least the 23 of them that have picks in the first round at the 2023 NHL Draft in Nashville on June 28th. Craig, you'll be playing double duty for 7 teams in the first round, triple duty for the St. Louis Blues, who have 3 picks. How do you prepare for a task like this?
Long days, sleepless nights, trying to get it right. You know, let's keep this in mind. This is a fun exercise. You know, we know who the top players are, and now we try to fit these players to a team and give some really good reasons why they would be such strong fits.
Well, most people are calling this the Connor Bedard draft. We're calling this the Connor Bedard Adam Fantilli mock draft because the 2022-2023 Hobey Baker winner will be in studio shortly. And spoiler alert, he doesn't have very long to wait until maybe you call his name, Craig. Here's the order of selection at the top of the draft. Number 3 seed Chicago won the draft lottery to pick ahead of Anaheim and Columbus. Montreal is the only Canadian team in the top 10, selecting at number 5. 5 Canadian teams in total have a total of 6 picks in the first round, including the Canadiens, again at number 31. Edmonton and Ottawa are sitting out the first round after trading away their picks. So Chicago picking number 1 overall for the first time since they selected Patrick Kane. And the only players that have outscored Patrick Kane since he entered the league, Ovechkin and Crosby. So pretty good company to be a part of. It's 2023 now, Craig. They once again have the first overall selection. It's fairly obvious where they're going with it.
Oh, yeah, they're going to 98, Connor Bedard. I mean, and when you think about Connor Bedard, you think about the domination that he's had wherever he's played this past season. In the Western Hockey League, dominant player. In the World Junior Tournament, a dominant player and the best player. No player, in my view, has had a better season at this age since Wayne Gretzky in 1977-78. Like Wayne Gretzky, Bedard dominated WHL and was the best player, wasn't even close at the World Junior Tournament. There's been some great players drafted first overall between that. None of them had the impact that Bedard had everywhere that he played this past season.
Yeah, what a run it's been for Connor Bedard. A year of firsts, leading the WHL and World Junior Championship at goals, assists, and points. He finished off the year with 14 pull-ups at the NHL Combine, tied for most among all prospects. He's set to become the first number one pick from the Dub since Ryan Nugent-Hopkins in 2011 and just the second in 27 years. Okay, Craig, rolling right along to the second overall pick for the Anaheim Ducks, who lost 13 straight games to end the season, but they lost the draft lottery. But they have a pretty good prize waiting for them at the end, don't they?
Absolutely they do, and that prize is Michigan Wolverines center Adam Fantilli. And when you think about Fantilli, think about speed. Speed kills. He plays at a frenetic pace, much like Nathan McKinnon of the Colorado Avalanche. He's got a hunger and a determination to score and to get to the net. And when he puts defenders on their heels, he puts them right back on their heels. It's unbelievable how he executes at that speed with that level of skill. Listen, the Anaheim Ducks aren't losing here. This is a big win for them.
Adam will join us in the studio shortly. He was very kind to do that. All right, moving right along to the Columbus Blue Jackets. They have only 1 first-round pick for the first time in 3 years. The Blue Jackets had a combined 5 first-rounders in 2021 and 2022. They've got a good one at number 3.
Yeah, Leo Carlsson, the center from Örebro in Sweden. And you think about a playmaking center, think about Nicholas Backstrom as a comparable type. Now think about what Nicholas Backstrom meant to the great goal scorer Alexander Ovechkin. And Leo Carlsson could do the same thing for Patrick Laine. Leo Carlsson has rounded out his game a little bit, becoming a little bit more of a goal scorer. But when that puck's on his stick, offense is going to ensue. And if you're a goal scorer, be ready for it. Patrick Laine should be lighting up with enthusiasm.
So this is where we get into very interesting territory. It's San Jose's highest pick in 25 years and arguably the first real opportunity for a team to take Matvei Michkov. So much intrigue surrounding him, 3 years remaining on his KHL contract, monumental Russian factors at play. What do you see San Jose doing here?
Matvei Michkov.
Wow.
I mean, we always talk about Russian factor. Bottom line is you're not drafting a Russian factor, you're drafting a player. You can make any case not to draft a player, just like you can make a case to draft a player. And in Michkov's case, he's an unbelievable elite striker. The ability to find an opening, find an opportunity, and then exploit it to full advantage. Great hands, can score in so many different ways. And you look at 3 years, the San Jose Sharks, their window for contending is down the road. Michkov fits nicely.
Mysterious Matvei Michkov. He had 12 goals to Bedard's 7 in the 2021 World U18 Championships, was tournament MVP there. All right, rolling right along, Craig, to the Montreal Canadiens at number 5. They had the first overall pick last year.
Will Smith from the National Team Development Program, USA. And Will Smith is just such a top-notch two-way player. There is nothing he can't do in the game. We know he can score. Look at the records that he just had at the under-18 in April en route to a gold medal for Team USA. But he can make plays, he can score, he kills penalties. He's an elite #1 center. Much like Mika Zibanejad of the New York Rangers, you think about adding this type of player, high-end skill, high-end ability to impact the game, that's Will Smith.
Yeah, the last time the Montreal Canadiens picked overall, they picked Carey Price. So a pretty good number for Montreal. Now let's take a look at the top 5 as it's shook out so far in your draft. Connor Bedard, the 2023 World Junior Championship and 2023 Western Hockey League Most Valuable Player, will give added meaning to MVP at the 2023 NHL Draft. He will officially be the most valuable pick when he goes #1 overall. All right, Craig, 6 to 10.
Matthew Wood to the Arizona Coyotes. Big, strong winger. Reminds me a lot of Tage Thompson. Bill Armstrong drafted him when he was with the St. Louis Blues. At 7 for the Philadelphia Flyers, Ryan Leonard, the hard-driving, competitive, goal-scoring, really well-rounded player that makes a lot of things happen. Austrian defenseman David Reinbacher to the Washington Capitals, the highest Austrian defenseman ever drafted. Really progressed, really solid defending type player. Number 9, Detroit Red Wings take Colby Barlow. Colby is a dialed-in competitor. Every game he plays, you're getting 100% of Colby Barlow, the competitive edge, the goal scoring. And at number 10, the St. Louis Blues, Axel Sandin Pellikka. Reminds me of Sergei Zubov. Doug Armstrong, the GM of the St. Louis Blues, he was around Sergei Zubov as well with the Dallas Stars.
So it's time for our annual disclaimer that our lawyers here at TSN have written up for us. Be prepared for changes and lots of them to the order of the selection. Last year, 7 picks were traded on the floor during the first round. Only twice in the last 30 years has the draft order not been impacted by deals on day 1. Expect the floor to be shaken in Nashville. All right, headed to our next Canadian team, the Vancouver Canucks at number 11. Vancouver has not drafted a Canadian with their first pick, regardless of the round, since Jake Virtanen in 2014. Will that streak end?
It will end. And Tommy Wielander, arguably one of the most improved players over the course of the draft. And if you don't draft a defenseman at the top end of the draft, you can try to take your chances later in the draft. But Tommy Wielander, a right shot defenseman, I see him lining up right on the other side of Quinn Hughes eventually. And for the Vancouver Canucks, they need to get some top-end defensemen that can drive play. They have a lot of other good elements. Tommy Wielander adds to that in a big way. Oliver Ekman-Larsson out, another Swedish defenseman in.
All right, take us through the next 4 picks. We'll start at number 12, which Arizona received from Ottawa in the Chychrun trade.
Yeah, Dalibor Dvorsky, you know, another Slovakian player, really well-rounded, competitive, hard center. 13 to Buffalo, Zach Benson, the creative, imaginative, elusive winger. He can make things happen. You think about the ability to operate in small, tight spaces, that's Zach Benson. Braden Yeager to the Pittsburgh Penguins, speed. He can really shoot the puck, but he's really rounding out his game from a playmaking point of view. And really, first time I'm going to use it, he's a 200-foot player. And Gabe Perreault to the Nashville Predators. He broke Austin Matthews' single-season record for points at the National Team Development Program. He can do it all. He's going to need a little bit of time to physically mature, but that type of skill for the Nashville Predators is significant.
Well, there you have it, 1 through 15 in our mock draft. When we return, Michigan's fab freshman and Hobey Baker winner Adam Fantilli joins us in studio. We'll see if he likes that Craig has him going to California.
Dean moves in. Fantilli winds in through the top and shoots, scores! Lucic snaps that pass in for Fantilli walking. Oh, what a move! Fantilli scores! An incredible goal! What a snipe!
This is just stuff you cannot teach.
Welcome in. We're very pleased to be joined by Adam Fantilli. Welcome, Adam, to Studio 6 here at TSN, and thank you for bringing all of your ice. You're all iced out right now, and I wanted to ask you about both of these medals. You won them both in the same year. You're 18 years old. What do you think 5- or 6-year-old Adam Fantilli would think of you winning both a World Championship and a World Junior Championship in the same year?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for having me on. It's really cool to be here. Yeah, I don't know. It was always a dream to play in the World Juniors, and I had never really thought about the World Championships until I got that call. And being able to play on a team with such established NHL guys and guys that have been in the league for so long was awesome, just to learn from them. And I think 5- or 6-year-old me wouldn't really believe that I was in that type of locker room and in that type of setting. So it was definitely a special moment. Yeah,
well, you took the call and you definitely made the most of it. You got that big goal versus Latvia to send Canada to the finals. What do you think about when you think back on that goal, and how many times have you watched it back since?
Well, I've watched it a few times. When I think back and watch it, it's more, I grew up being a Bruins fan, and I watched them go through that 2011 Cup run with my dad, and obviously to have Lucic pass the puck and for it to go in after that, that was really special, just the way it went in.
Well, now we're looking ahead to the draft, and Craig Button has you going 2nd overall to the Anaheim Ducks. So what have you learned about the Anaheim Ducks? What do you remember about your interview with them at the Combine?
It was good. I mean, all of them are extremely nice people, all the people that were in the room there in Buffalo, and I really liked talking to them. They were all extremely nice, and obviously I've gotten to know Zegras a little bit through training at the gym in Plymouth there, so all the guys there seem really nice, and everybody that I talked to was great, so it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, seems like an awesome young group in Anaheim. All right, let's do some ranking now, Adam. Let's take a look at some firsts that you had this year. So you scored your first NCAA goal. Here it is. You had your first, wait for it, NCAA fight. Not too many 2nd overall picks doing this, but you mix it up anyway, and you threw the first pitch at a Detroit game. Your most memorable first this year out of those 3.
Probably the first goal. That was the one that I was most happy about. I probably put the fight at number 2, and even though it wasn't too much of a fight, but and the pitch at number 3, that was awful. That wasn't much of a display of athletic ability there. So.
Well, they didn't let you go on the mound, right?
Yeah, I mean, at Michigan's field, I was training on the mound and got used to throwing it downwards. And when I got to the field at Comerica Park, they were like, yeah, like, only the pitchers are allowed to step up there, so I just didn't want to throw it in the dirt, so maybe I just put it a little bit extra high out of cautiousness.
So they kind of stored you on that one. Okay, Grady Dick went 13th overall to the Raptors last night. Did you see his suit on draft day? Take a look at it. Your initial thoughts to this suit style.
I did. I mean, it's definitely interesting. He's got quite the red bling going on. I don't know if he knew exactly where he was going with that type of outfit, but he was definitely working it pretty good.
Can you give us a sneak peek as to what you have in mind to wear in Nashville?
Yeah, I got some pretty special designs that I went through with my parents, and I got some names on the back of my vest, and I got pictures on the inside of the liner. So it'll be pretty special to be able to walk up on the stage and bring all those people up there with me.
120 names, right?
Yeah, something close to that. Yeah.
You got to have them all up there. Well, thank you so much, Adam, for joining us, and good luck in Nashville.
Thank you very much.
Now back to the draft. Calgary drafted 2 players in 2016 who are finalists for major NHL awards this year, but not with the Flames. Hart finalist Matthew Tkachuk is with Florida. Adam Fox with the New York Rangers. But there's a new Craig in Calgary sitting at the draft table in Nashville. Where do you see him going with his first selection as Flames GM?
Just up the road with Red Deer native Nate Danielson, who played with the Brandon Wheat Kings, a really well-rounded two-way center. He can score, he can make plays, he plays heavy, he plays defensively. He is a real challenge to play against, and you don't have to take my word for it. That's what Connor Bedard said, one of the toughest players he had to play against, and they played often, Regina and Brandon. The type of center that helps you win and helps you win when it matters, a nice fit for the Calgary Flames, no question.
Models his game after a current Flame, Elias Lindholm. Now rolling right along to Detroit's pick at 17.
Otto Stenberg, the Swedish left winger, he really plays the game hard. He plays it with skill. He can shoot it. And that's where the Red Wings are trying to head, adding a little bit more of that style of player. Another player that was like that, Colby Barlow, who they took at 9.
Back to the Canadian teams at number 18. And Winnipeg had the 18th overall pick in 2021. They took Chaz Lucius. Who will they take this year?
They're going back to the USA National Team Development Program, Oliver Moore. And all you need to know is he's a speed demon. His speed, the best skater in the draft. He is so good at creating chances for himself, for his team, and impacting the game with that speed. And when he gets on the ice, it is not comfortable for the opponents because he's disruptive and he's a catalyst in so many different areas. His offense may be underrated, but the type of player that fits in nicely to the current NHL and where the Winnipeg Jets find themselves, a real nice addition.
19 and 20, where we're starting with Chicago.
Well, you need a player to play with Connor Bedard. Who is going to be that guy? It is going to be Samuel Honzek. Big, strong winger, smart, can finish plays. And if you're going to be alongside Connor Bedard potentially, you better know how to finish. Cal Ritchie to the Seattle Kraken, a really good two-way smart winger, and I think his game translates beautifully to the NHL.
All right, now 21 through 26, Craig.
Edward Shalla to the Minnesota Wild. I love Edward Shalla. Mark Masters did an interview. Check it out on tsn.ca. Edward Shalla says he likes me too.
He likes you too. It's a
Not
bromance.
bad, yeah. Ethan Gauthier to the Philadelphia Flyers at 22. That comes after they draft Leonard at 7. Ethan's father, Denny, a former first-round draft pick to the Calgary Flames, he played for the Philadelphia Flyers. Daniel Boot, a good goal-scoring winger, range and length, can finish very nicely. Dmitry Simashov at 24 to the Nashville Predators, great skating, really good defending player. Much like Matthias Ekholm, could be a nice replacement. David Edstrom to the Blues, his game is improved so much over the course of the year, but that type of player that you want in the playoffs, the type of player you want that helps you win heavy and good. And at 26, Michael Rabel, 6'6" and a quarter inches tall. He takes up a lot of the net. There's no goaltending prospects, good ones, in the San Jose system. I have him as the only goaltender in the first round.
Hey, taking up most of the net is a good way to start. Well, we're almost at the end of our first round mock draft. Still to come, we'll see who Craig has Brad Treliving taking in his first draft with the Maple Leafs, plus Kent Hughes' second first rounder from Montreal. Welcome back to our mock draft here at TSN. We've made it to the last 6 picks of Craig Button's draft. And Craig, where are we going with number 27, Colorado?
Casper Halttunen, who models his game after Patrick Laine, now going to Colorado. He can have a new Finnish role model in Mikko Rantanen, 50-goal scorer last season.
And we've made it to the Toronto Maple Leafs at number 28. Toronto is set to make only 3 picks for the second time in 3 years. They have numbers 28, 153, and 185 this year. If nothing changes, Toronto will make only 11 of 21 possible picks over a 3-year period. That's barely a 50% participation rate in the draft. So they have to make the most of it, Craig. Who are they taking?
Quentin Musty from the Sudbury Wolves, and a very good, smart playmaking winger. He can score. He does it in subtle ways. He doesn't really overpower you, even though he has a lot of size. He does it with kind of a real good sensibility about it, getting to the right areas at the right time. He can shoot the puck, but he knows how to create offense. He knows how to finish plays. And for the Toronto Maple Leafs, adding that type of player, especially somebody that can play on the wing with that type of size, I think a fantastic fit.
Musty, the first overall pick in the 2021 OHL draft. Rolling right along to 29 and 30 now, Craig. St. Louis and Carolina.
Oliver Bonk, the big defender from the London Knights. And his father, Radek, was a former first-round draft pick to the Ottawa Senators. He plays the game in a really smart, territorial way. There's not a lot of flash to his game, but they need some young defensemen in there. And then at number 30, the Carolina Hurricanes, Theo Lindstein, elite skating defenseman. He moves the puck up the ice, and he can do it either by passing it or by skating it. A real nice addition.
So Montreal has already taken Will Smith at number 5, the Fresh Prince of where Montreal now, something to that effect. Who do they take to join him at number 31?
I'm going with Anton Wahlberg, the big, rangy Swedish winger center. His progression was significant over the course of the year. You know, you're looking at potential, you're trying to project out, but when you watch somebody, in this case Anton Wahlberg, and the progression he made over the course of the last 18 months, it was significant. And if his improvement is continued along that path, a chance to be a really good player. They have a lot of good offensive players. They don't have a lot of good offensive players with size. Anton Wahlberg adds to that.
Montreal has a Canadian team-high 11 picks in the draft and 2 first-round selections for the 2nd consecutive year. Well, we've made it all the way to number 32, Craig, and we definitely left the best for last with the Vegas Golden Knights, Stanley Cup champions.
Maxim Sturbeck, a right-shot defenseman, really competitive, played at the World Junior for Slovakia, was the captain of the U18 team for Slovakia. And when you consider Maxim Sturbeck, he would be the 3rd Slovakian player drafted in this draft, which would match 2022 when there was 3 first-round draft picks. Wouldn't that be special again for Slovakia?
Yeah, definitely a nation on the rise in hockey. But of course, our nation, Canada, the one that we focus on a lot. Let's take a look at all the picks the Canadian teams made in your mind in this mock draft in the first round of the draft. Here are Craig's projected 6 Canadian team picks headed by super scorer Will Smith. The American center averaged more than 2 points per game this season. He's going to be a pick. Red Deer, Alberta native Nate Danielson is slotted with Calgary, the only Canadian projected to land with a Canadian team. It's a very exciting time. It's draft season, Craig. Where else more exciting in the world than Nashville, Tennessee? What's it going to be like for these players when they arrive?
Well, I mean, it's something they dreamed about. And then when they hear their names called, not only are they going to get up and they're going to put on an NHL jersey, their family and their friends are going to be enthused. And, you know, there's going to be lots of emotion. It's an exciting time. And Adam Fantilli, you know, who we had here in the mock draft, you had a great interview with him. He's got a special reveal there honoring all the people that have been significant in his life to this point. So make sure you get a glimpse of what Adam Fantilli is going to model in Nashville once he's drafted.
Well, what a time it will be in Nashville on June the 28th. Thank you very much for joining us in this edition of Craig Button's Mock Draft here on TSN. Many more surprises to come, we're sure, in Music City on June 28th.